Diary of Thoughts. After he cheated, Myleene shuffled through the pages of her diary. Her face saying nothing about the thoughts whirling in her mind. Only the tremor of her hand when she reached the faded page inscribed with a somewhat shaky handwriting betrayed what she was feeling. She bit her lip nervously and her eyes darted across the room, though she knew she's utterly alone. Her hand rested on an entry from a year ago and a haunted look came over her face, her bony frame taut almost as if she was about to confront the ghost of her past. My love always rose for you like sunrise, and even when obscured by the clouds, I was always shining in the background. I never asked you for anything, I simply gave from the abundance of my heart. When you needed rain, I burnt the water and provided you with all you needed to thrive. In the night, afraid to leave you alone, I shone my rays on the moon and lighted up the dark night with its soft glow, a reminder that I am always by your side. The storm came with its mighty winds and angry clouds pushing me away from you. With a bleeding heart, I prayed for you from the distance, and when the storm was over, the rays of my love bounced on the water drops and became that beautiful rainbow. A symbol of my hope that we will always see each other after very storm. My faith in what we had was infallible, and with the stubbornness of a bull heading into the fire in anger, I abandoned myself in you. Apart from you, I no longer knew who I was. Every breath, word and action was for you and because of you. When you've given your all to someone and they turn away from it, it means it's not enough, so why do you keep asking me to stay with you? These are the thoughts whirling in my head as you kneel before me begging for another chance. She meant nothing to me. I want to believe you, but when I look at you, I see her fingerprints on all over you and my body tenses in pain with the knowledge that she has kissed those lips that are now declaring their undying love to me. Her hands have strayed to places only mine should have caressed and sullied the body I worshipped. She encountered parts of you I will never know and evoked emotions in you that I couldn't. Seen wide smiles on your luscious lips and heard your carefree laughter, but you've ceased to love me with such abandon. You've shared with her the heart that should have been mine alone. We can work this out, you say as you put a hand on my arm and hold my chin, forcing me to look into your eyes. I love you, I can't imagine life without you. Are you listening to me? Yes, I am listening, but I can't hear you. My brain is simply refusing to process anything you say and the anger starts bubbling in my chest. I want to scream out. No, I am the one who loves you because I have never imagined myself with anyone else in spite of all my options. I am the one who truly loves because for the last 10 years, I have woken up each morning and chosen to be with you. You can't love me and chase after every pretty little thing that passes your way. I shout out all these words in my mind, but you do not hear anything. Maybe after years of tiptoeing around you, I've forgotten how my own voice sounds. In a desperate attempt to hold it all together, I still can't say what should be said because I never want to hurt you. Isn't this what love is, knowing I have the power to hurt you but never intentionally using it? There's no use in tearing your heart apart when I'm going to leave you anyway. I don't want to hear your justification because it won't change the ending of this story. I have nothing left to give. There are roads that we should never take and doors in life that should never be opened. Underneath everything that we are is the potential to be selfish, manipulative, insecure, and I refuse to allow my love for you to make such a woman out of me. I don't want to snuggle up to you and watch you as you sleep wondering if you're dreaming of her, to feel the emotions you evoke in me knowing she probably felt the same. See.
The librarian with a ponytail. I first saw him on the campus of a university in Florida. He was drop-dead gorgeous with dark hair and beautiful eyes, and he had a long ponytail and was wearing cologne. He was the librarian. When I checked my books out, I said hi and gave him my best smile. His shoulders were broad and he wore a tight red short-sleeved shirt that was open at the throat, revealing some chest hair. Did you find what you were looking for? He asked, smiling. Yeah, I said. I racked my brain trying to think of a way to extend the conversation and asked, are you a student here? Yes.
This is my last semester.
What about you? He asked, setting my books in front of me. I'm in my second year. He smiled and asked, what's your major? Business administration. I'm practical, I said, grinning. What's yours? Poli-sci. I glanced behind me and saw a line had formed, all women. No surprise there. Take care, he said, turning his attention to the next person in line. You too. I smiled and left, my mind racing. He was just my type. I was walking on air. I would have to start going to the library more often. But the next time I went in, I was disappointed to see that he was not there. Instead, there was the epitome of the stereotypical librarian, a woman wearing thick, heavy-rimmed glasses, her hair in a bun. Possibly off for the evening, I thought. So what happened to Ponytail Guy? I asked her as I checked my books out. He's gone, she said. Then added, off for the summer semester, I think. Oh, I said as I picked up my books and left. So that's that. Just my luck. As quickly as my spirits had soared, so too they sank. But as it turned out, hope springs eternal. A few weeks later, on a glorious sunny afternoon in June, I walked into the main branch of the public library and much to my surprise saw him standing there behind the counter in the front of the library. Not wanting him to see me, I ducked behind some bookshelves and made my way over to the fiction section and stood there. A bit discombobulated at my good luck. I considered the possibility that he had a girlfriend, or even a wife. I couldn't help but think that I was meant to run into him again. Was it my imagination or had there been a mutual attraction that first night? Probably not, I thought. He was probably nice to all the students, especially the women. It wasn't just his movie star good looks that I found so appealing. He had charisma. I saw him as unconventional, wearing a long ponytail instead of a more clean-cut look that you might expect from someone working in a library. I saw him as someone who marched to the beat of his own drummer, and who colored outside of the box. I liked that. I stood there trying to read the inside cover of a book I wanted to read, when I heard him say, "I thought it was you," he said, grinning. For some reason, I looked down at his feet. Ponytail guy was wearing sandals and socks with what looked like little guitars on them. Something else I liked about him. "Hi," I said happily. "What a small world," I exclaimed. "How's it going?" he asked, looking at me intently. "My name's Mike," he said, extending his hand. "Erica," I said, shaking his hand. "I see you've got your work cut out for you," I said, looking at the cartload of books he was pushing. "When I finish up with these, I'm off. Wanna get some coffee?" "Yeah, I'd like that. I get off at noon. I'll meet you out front," he told me. "Okay, see you then." I turned and headed for the ladies' room. I checked my watch. I had 20 minutes to kill. I went into the ladies' room, ran a comb through my hair and put some lip gloss on. Now I would have a chance to sit down and talk to him. I made my way to the back of the library, sat down in a chair and began reading one of the paperbacks I'd picked out. At 5:12 I picked up my books and headed for the counter to check them out.
Then I walked outside and sat down on a bench.
A few minutes later I watched as his long legs walked towards me in a pair of white jeans. "Hi," he said, smiling. "Are you hungry?" he asked. "Not really," I said. "There's a coffee shop up the street. Do you mind walking?" "Not at all," I said cheerfully. When we got to the coffee shop, we sat down at a table by the window. He ordered a club sandwich and a coffee for himself and one for me. "So how long have you been working at the library?" I asked curiously. "For a few years. My mother works for the county, so I had a bit of a leg up," he said, taking a bite of his sandwich. "What about you? Do you work?" he asked. "Yes, part-time in a law office doing clerical work." The conversation moved along at a nice, easy clip. Turns out there was more to Mike than meets the eye. He told me he was a type 1 diabetic, insulin dependent since the age of 8. My mother and brother were both type 1 diabetics. I know how damaging it can be to the body, the eyes, the kidneys, all the